What's going on, Geno?
Hang on, I'm trying to unmute.
You're on mute.
Oh, okay. I'm really bad at this stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
it'll be fun.
So I had to ask you something. You said, what's Nikki saying? I'll get on in 10 minutes. Okay. You said you're from the Point Pleasant area?
Yeah, I went to Point Pleasant High School.
Oh, that's so funny. I was born at Point Pleasant Hospital.
Is that right? Holy
Yeah,
mackerel.
yeah.
Where'd you go to
It's
school?
not there. It's not there anymore, but
I know it's not there. When right across the street from there, down about 4 houses from where the hospital used to be, I had a
uh-huh.
I had a girlfriend for a couple of years, and I had a little Triumph TR4, and it had no battery. And every night she would have to push me down the hill toward the hospital so I could pop the clutch and start the car and get it home.
So my uncle used to live down that road, also on that same road, River Road.
River Road.
He was the mayor of Brick too. His last name was Coochie. Yeah, small world, right?
Isn't that wild? Yeah, that's crazy. I don't see
Yeah.
me on the screen. Is there a reason why?
You don't have your video turned on.
And how do I
So
do that?
at the bottom of Zoom on the left-hand side, it'll have like a video camera that you
Gotcha.
can turn on. You should be able to click that and turn your video on. There you go. There you are.
Yeah, easy enough. So yeah, that's where, and you know what? I have I have a sister in Point Beach.
Uh-huh.
I have a nephew in Brielle. I have 3 younger
Okay.
nephews that play for, my whole family played for Manasquan High School, all the
Oh, that's
football.
cool.
Yeah, crazy, man.
We're in Belmar right now, my wife and I,
Right.
on
That's
the water.
I think I knew that when we talked maybe last year, but I forgot that you were
Yeah.
so close. But yeah, God, I love that
Yeah,
area.
but that's where I grew up in Point. So
How crazy, man. It's a small world, isn't
uh,
it?
yeah. Oh, please. I spent so much time on that river,
I,
skiing, fishing, everything.
I hear that. You and me both. I think that's
Uh,
where let's see, on the river was where I lost my virginity. I first smoked pot. I first did mushrooms. I mean, every first was on in a Boston whale or someplace on either the river
right?
or in the inlet.
Go out to beer can island there.
Absolutely,
Right?
you got that right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So funny.
crazy,
Hit
man.
Jersey Mike's original place during the day, right?
Do you know that Mike used to make my subs when I was a kid?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I went to Point Pleasant High School. We used to walk down to Mike's, and my friend Jack Benedict worked there. He lived right around the corner, and Mike used to make our subs. And then when we all started getting high, we would take the guys out back and smoke pot with them behind where Mike's corporate office is now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I remember the original one there, right on the bend.
yeah,
And then Peter worked for him, and then Peter bought it and
yeah.
blew up the franchise. So
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. And it's even now they're doing well.
Oh, they're doing really well now.
Yeah, they got a nice thing going.
They fly
Yeah.
the bread in from North Jersey. They fly it all over the country.
Uh-huh.
So that's why they do well.
That's smart though. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, you can't get that kind of bread down in Florida and stuff,
Oh, hi, Eliza. How are you? I can see your note there.
I forgot to see who's in here. Let's see chat.
One of
There we
my,
go.
yes, I wish I could.
Oscar's in.
Oh yeah, Oscar's the best. I wish I could have been in Salt Lake City. It's unfortunate how my entire schedule, which was incredible for the year, is completely gone. And the way it looks right now, I don't know if we're going to have any work this year at all. Going to have to see where they take the laws and stuff.
Going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's all right. We're going to have a good time. Huh, wild.
Are you doing a lot of remote stuff right now, Geno?
Yeah, too much. Yeah, actually too much. I have maybe, I live in a 105-year-old house. I have 1,000 projects. I have lists.
What state are you in?
Virginia.
How the hell did you end up there from Jersey?
Well, I had a girlfriend from Jersey who moved to
Yeah.
Virginia and opened up a salon and invited me down. So I came down to see her, and then she got sick and ended up with multiple sclerosis. So I stayed,
Oh,
worked with her, and then, you know what? The great thing about Virginia is if you're a Jersey boy, when you come to Virginia, you talk so fast, they just think you're smart. So I had them fooled, man, but I still am. I still am fooling them.
Do you ever come up and visit your sister in
All
Point?
the time. All the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go down to Jenkinson's for a
big
drink?
time. Listen, I used to hang out with Craig Jenkinson. I knew all the Jenkinsons well. And, of course, Borgata, the water club, I built that. Yeah, that's my hotel. They used my money from Borgata to build the water club. And I used to go down there every month when they were open. But now, now it's hard to even travel. Now they're going to start checking your out-of-state plates to see why you're there,
Oh, God, I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy right now.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Hey, Patty. Hey, Jackie. Got the whole gang jumping
Hey,
on.
Patty, what's kicking?
As usual, the Jersey guys are on first.
Absolutely. Only way to go.
I always say that, I would hire somebody from New Jersey, I think, before I'd hire from any other state, because New Jersey has such a hustle attitude. It's like, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Yeah, right.
And I was down south in Florida. I was going to retire there. And my wife and I were down there for a year, and we packed back up and came up here. She couldn't stand it. And I couldn't either. They'd be like, don't worry, I'll get to it. And I'm like, come on, it's Jersey. It's Jersey.
Oh, yeah. Let's get it done. Yeah. Who's got time? Who's got time? I love it.
And Oscar's a Cali boy. Forget it. They just kick back and, yo, man, it's all good.
You got that right. Yeah. That's another world. Whenever I travel, West Coast, East Coast, there's two different worlds. There's truly an East Coast mentality, and then there's a West Coast mentality that's just very different from the East Coast mentality. It is different. It is. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah. No, it's all good no matter where you go. But it's just, I guess that's why everybody in New Jersey dies of heart attacks, because we're so uptight all the time.
Okay. Well, that and cocaine,
Yeah, right? So Nikki should be in any minute, I hope. She might. I think her and I are getting set up, so we shall see. Now you got you got the link email, right? This morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I believe they did too. Yeah. They're good. Are you saying that you're an East Coaster now? Oh, okay. It was I was a little hard to read your note there, Oscar, but yes, you are an East Coaster.
He can't claim to be East Coast. He's in Georgia. Georgia's not East Coast.
Oh,
Georgia's laid back. Georgia's as laid back as California.
I was going to say Georgia's California on the east side.
Watch, we're really going to get him riled up now.
I probably shouldn't drink too much wine before we start. Mm-hmm.
Well, you got, in Jersey, we call that a primer, right?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
You get a primer before you go out to the clubs.
What does he say? Oh, sure. I love seeing it. So.
Why not?
Did you see the Zoom call that the professor had in California the day before yesterday, and he got Zoom bombed? And in the middle of his presentation, all of a sudden, somebody started drawing a gigantic penis. And
that's funny.
They couldn't get it off. They had to shut it down and try to figure out like who got in. And they couldn't figure it out. They called it Zoom bombing.
Yeah, some kids did that to a high school teacher up here. And then,
oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I love the Zoom videos of when people forget the cameras on and stuff.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah.
There goes Alba again. He says he's in, but I don't see him, which means I got to bring him in as an, let's see. He always goes on the wrong link.
Can we see people now?
I'm going to bring him on right now. Only panelists can be seen.
Okay.
I'm bumping him up right now. There he is. I bumped him up. Come on. He should be coming on. There he is. There we go.
What's going on?
Good evening, sir.
You always join with the wrong link.
Well, you sent me the panelist link. That's what I joined with.
You couldn't have. You went into the regular group, not the panelists.
Oh, you could be right. That's all right. I'm
Panelist one went out. The panelist one went out at like 10:30 this morning.
Geno, I'm excited to meet you. You know, every time I go to a seminar, for some reason, I don't know, something happens. Somebody sweeps you away by helicopter to some salon rescue or something, and we've always crossed paths.
I'm excited to meet you too, and I'm looking very forward to tonight. You know what? It's always fun to work with Nikki. I was talking to Iva earlier, and Iva said, "Is it going to be you for 20 minutes and Nikki for the other 70?" And I said, "No," because Nikki and I fight for time, so it makes it a whole lot of fun. But it's nice to see you too.
Well, our distributor is Art of Business, so Josh and Howard Heifetz always rave about you. I'm very good friends with Jay Williams.
Oh, fantastic.
Matter of fact, I posted a video based on the John Steinbeck quote today from the, I mean, it exists, but it's in the Psy Cosmetics.
Yeah, that's very cool. Hi, Iva. You know, I knew Jay before Jay knew Jay. You know, when Jay was like creating Jay, but I've been friends with Howard, dear God, for probably 40 years, a long, long time. And I don't know if they ever shared the story with you, but for some reason, people think Howard and I look a lot alike. So people always think that I'm Howard and that Howard's children are my children. So whenever I'm at like PBA or any big meetings or Intercofure, people are always like, "Where's Josh?" And I'm like, "How do I know where Josh is? Where's Jen? You know, where's Erica?"
Howard's got his credentials, man. You know, it's not a bad thing. You know, it might not be a bad person to be confused with.
I'll show you something really cool. I don't know if it'll turn out, but hang on.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Nikki's having trouble joining. Did you see that, Iva?
No.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. Just tell her to just join the regular link, and then I'll promote her up to a panelist, if you could.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Is it possible to see what I'm holding up? Can you see that?
Oh, of course I can see that.
That's
you and Cam?
That's me and my son Cameron. Geno and his son Cameron. Howard sent that to me.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Awesome. Iva, you need help with something?
Yeah, we're just trying to get
Nikki does.
Oh, I think Nikki just texted me. Nikki.
And me too. Hold on.
Okay, hang on. Is she on?
I told her time. Hold on. All right, we'll see if that works.
So, Geno, does Cameron know that you have a picture of him in your office?
Yeah. Yeah, he knows that his father sent it to me. I have one from years ago with Erica and Josh as Geno and his children, Erica and Josh. Howard does it to me all the time.
That's really funny.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. They're a wonderful family, and that's a great company. I've done a lot of work for Raylon over the years.
It's good. I've had the pleasure of, I mean, obviously we work with them a lot, but Howard's given me the full tour of the Reading location and told me how many famous hairstylists have been a part of that. And what's funny is you're on there. He's got your picture up there too.
You know, it's pretty wild because when you get on that stage, you realize that Vidal Sassoon was on that stage. Paul Mitchell was on that stage. I mean, Howard had everybody early on, and the gallery was like the hottest place on the East Coast, and it was in Reading, you know, and there was like nothing happening in Reading. But I'm sure he probably told you that facility, I mean, hell, it was his father's before it was his. He grew up there, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. They do a great job there, and it's funny that it's in the middle of. They're lucky now because there's a couple of hotels at least, but I'm sure back in the day there was like everybody slept in their car.
you know what? When he used to have me in and I'd have to work in Reading, I had to sleep at that old Penn hotel, and it was paper thin. Somebody beeped their horn and I'd be wide awake. You could hear all the traffic going by on 22. And
It's so
Nikki
funny.
said she's in, but I don't see her on here on the attendees.
Let's see.
I told her to go to. I told her to go to her
I
email.
got it. I got it. It's not her name. I got it.
Okay.
Promote to
Hey, I want to
panelist.
try.
There, here she comes.
I want to try something. Oscar told me how
Hey.
to bring the document. Hey,
Hi,
hold on one
Nikki.
second.
Hey, Nikki.
Hi.
Should I get my
Your
hat?
name?
My links that you guys emailed me wasn't working. I keep
Can
That's
you guys
weird.
see this?
links that you guys sent me, and it's both of them aren't taking me to panelist.
Well, you're gone again.
Yeah,
Can
you guys
yours
see
the
that?
only one that didn't work. I don't know, but you're on now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Am I on?
I
I
don't
see
see
you.
you. I see Iva. How
As
come
you
I
should.
see.
I don't see you?
I'm on here. I can see myself as a panelist here, so I don't know. Can you guys hear
You're
me?
definitely
Can you
on.
see-
I see you.
Can you see me, Derek?
I can see you.
I
Oh,
can see
I don't.
you.
I don't see myself, so
How
I
come
don't
I
know.
don't see you?
I don't know.
I see Derek and
Wow.
James and Iva and Geno.
Hi,
She
Patty.
might be, didn't see Gina. Wait, let's see. Gino, Derek, Alba, Iva, and then Nikki's on the bottom.
Okay, maybe I need to hit that thing.
Derek, I put
Derek.
in both links that you sent me, one for the panelist and one for the regular.
Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, wait, now I just lost me, though. But I don't need to see me. Right? Do I need to
I
see
guess
you?
Good Lord.
No,
it probably
you-
depends on the size.
You know,
of
if you
the
click on
screen.
the top right, it'll say gallery view or speaker view. If you click on that, it'll bring you up.
I don't think it does that when you're in the screen in the
Oh, the
when they're
screen share.
sharing slides.
Can you guys see the document I have on the screen?
Oh, wait a minute. Are we doing creating a strong salon culture tonight? Wow. All right. I'll give it all I got.
You can see it. Derek, can you see it?
I can see everybody. I can see your screen. I can see everybody.
I can't see
Okay.
me, Derek, so I don't know how this is looking. So make sure I'm on camera. Let me know. I can't see myself.
You
So.
are. Well, they can't see you now. You just moved.
Can you see me now?
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, Gino.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jersey boy.
You got it. Right back at you.
I should say, can I call you a clam digger, Gino?
Not a problem. Absolutely.
Nice.
Okay.
I can handle that.
You have to understand down the shore, you were either called a clam digger or a piney.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hi, Andrew.
Can I like hit
Andrew's-
something where I can see myself?
Hey, Gino.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Very
You're
good.
looking well.
Good to see you.
When the Nikki, when we're in share mode like this, like where I was sharing the screen, then
Mhm.
it shows these little boxes. It doesn't it's a little different on the webinar one. And then what we'll do is once we get rolling here, I'll just mute everybody and you can speak, and then we can go from there, right?
Okay.
It doesn't put you in full speaker view right now because of the screen share going on.
Oh,
Hi, Eva.
hi, Nikki.
I can see you.
I see
Iva looks burnt out for filling out all those forms. I went
So,
through it all.
I don't see your new version of the notes, Missy. Where'd you put them? I looked.
You don't need them. You use your notes.
Oh.
Hi, Melody. I miss you.
The boss has spoken.
Woo!
You got to do it,
Shady as
Derek.
hell. Shady as hell.
She works for me. I don't work for her.
That's about right.
That's right.
I can't wait. Can we get to work now? What are we doing? Oh, not yet, right?
Yeah. So
We're
everybody's
early and
on.
we're waiting.
So we are not early now. So let me get fire up the Facebook Live, right? And then we can
Yeah.
get this show rolling.
Gino's like, get it on the. Hey, Gino,
Yes.
I told Oscar today you need to get the green screen like Derek has, but you need it of a casino.
Well, did you see my casino thing today? Were you able to get it open?
No.
Oh, no. Wait till you see it. It's hysterical. I would love that. That's a great idea. Maybe I should go to a casino to record. If I can find
Not
it.
without me.
They're empty.
I think Florida's still open.
Really?
I don't know.
As of Thursday, they shut everything down.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not going without me.
No, there's no place to go now, Ivy. It's going to be a while.
I
Hi,
know,
Leila.
but
Leila's on here.
we're
Hi,
out.
Leila. Hi, Dina. How are you doing, Geno Pino?
I'm doing terrific. How are you doing?
I'm good. You ready to go?
I can't. Well, I have to hurry because I'm on my second glass of wine. I don't want to get stupid.
Oh,
Oh my
not
Lord.
get shit faced on here, Geno.
Come on, it's Friday night. I'm a Jersey boy.
And the bars aren't open, so you might as well drink at home.
That's right. You got that right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned you're drinking alone.
We are live on Facebook now. Okay, so
Hello.
I'm going to mute everybody except for the speakers, and I'm just going to introduce the speakers, Nikki and Geno, and we'll get the show rolling. Okay.
Fantastic.
Got it.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my God. Did you see this curbside liquor bingo? In Wisconsin? We're driving up. Ivan and I are on our way. Right as soon as this is over, we're going to drive up.
There you go. Okay, everybody,
Have a good
welcome to. Well, you ready? Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to tonight's meeting for the Beauty Business Reset. We have the pleasure of having Geno Stampora and Nikki Lee as our hosts tonight, or our educators, whatever you want to call it. Nikki, Virginia girl, and Geno, a Jersey boy. I just had to throw that in. And anyway, we have a great show set for you tonight. And with that, I'm going to kick it off over to Geno and Nikki.
Geno Pino, you gonna go?
Fantastic. Sure, I'll go. Thank you all so much for joining us, and it's always wonderful. Nikki and I were commenting earlier about some of the familiar faces that come on. So thank you for your notes, and thanks for being here with us. And thank you, Derek and James and Andrew, for all the hard work you're doing. And what a great opportunity to have a chance to be together. This new technology in the midst of all the chaos and the lousy crap that's going on, we all get a chance to kind of sit together and share thoughts and ideas and figure out how we're going to get through this thing. And do you want to say hi, Nikki, before I get serious?
Sure.
Yeah. You say hi first, because
Happy Friday night, guys.
I've got
Thank
some,
you for being here tonight.
Nikki, I've got some stuff to share that it's going to be a little hard to swallow. So
I know.
Come on
I know.
first, say hi to everybody and interrupt me anytime you want.
Okay, so I want to just say happy Friday and thank you for spending your Friday nights with us. I'm thinking I'm going to treat this like a date night. What do you guys think? What do you think, Geno?
Well, I think it's a great idea.
They're all having a date night with us. So we're going to get a little romantic. We're going to get a little serious. We're going to have some cosmic conversation with Geno.
That sounds beautiful. I should have had a couch instead of a chair.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm really privileged to be on here, especially with Geno. My goodness, how lucky! I'm a lucky girl. And with Iva too. We can't forget, because Iva's the backbone of this operation around here.
That she is, no doubt about it.
So give Iva some props, guys.
Absolutely. I was the brain.
Iva, stop your screen share, Oscar says. So we can see the video or the people.
Oh. How do you do I have to do something? Because I'm not good at that.
No, you just stay right there and you just talk.
I like it.
How about you dive right in? How about
Oh,
that?
sure, no problem. And Andrew, if there's anything I need to do, I know you'll tell me, because Andrew knows how to direct me right to the certain squares I have to go to push buttons and things to make things happen. So, okay, well, let's get moving. And it is a crazy time, and it's so good that all of you are here with us. And I know a lot of us have done a few of these Zoom calls and Facebook Lives and podcasts. And I know I probably should begin with Iva and Nikki have been 24/7 trying to figure out the SBA loans and how to do all these things. And I mean, really, really working hard, looking at how do we maintain sanity at this time, and how do we maintain this status? And oddly enough, I am the inspiration and motivation of the entire beauty industry for the most part. And I hate to say I don't have great news to share, but I have some honest news that I want to share with all of you. And I think a lot of people are looking for answers, and a lot of people are looking for leaders. And this is always a time where people will come out of the woodwork as experts. And they'll begin to tell you that they have the answer to everything. And the fact of the matter is, and please understand, I'm not coming out as an expert. I'm coming out as a hairdresser, a friend, and a person who cares about the future, certainly of our country, but especially of our industry. And I'm suffering as much as everyone else is. I mean, I don't know about all of you, but last month, all of my work for the entire year of 2020 dissolved. And based on what's going to happen as we move along, I know that they've moved some of the shows to like September and October, but I sense we won't be allowed to gather even then. You see, this virus, this COVID thing, the reason nobody has the answers is when we talked about reality, the new reality is that there's no reality. Well, everybody's reality is different. It just depends on where you are, what kind of a plan you had, how much cash reserves you have, what you have behind you to hold on. And then we've got an establishment that tells us, well, we're going to shut down for 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks, and then 5 weeks. And now they're saying they just don't know what. And I've been saying all along, I really don't think we're going to get back to work for months. I think it's going to be a while. And I think we really are going to have to learn how to sit tight and hang on and make everything work. And I've got a little bit of a plan for you. And I know, Nikki, you do too. And we've been doing nothing but planning and trying to get people to figure it out. So if you're on this and you're a salon owner, you're probably going to fall into two categories in regard to what I'm going to share. And that would be, you're either a salon owner who has protected their business all along, or you are the salon owner that starved your business to nurture your lifestyle. And if that's the case, it's going to be a little bit different for you. Your reality is going to be different. So let me break in and share with you what I'm talking about. I believe the landscape of the United States of America and the world will, I don't know, I've been talking to family in Ireland, I've been talking to good friends and family in Italy, and I'm watching this pace of what's to come. Here's the first thing. We haven't seen the worst yet. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And when they tell you that perhaps in 4 or 5 or 6 weeks we'll be back to work, nobody knows that, because nobody knows anything right now. I mean, today they came out and said, wear masks because this thing has mutated. I think what we're going to have to do is, and I know that, Nikki, you're going to talk a lot about the business plan. I'm going to give you a little bit of a personal plan and tell you what I did. What I did was I started to talk to my friends in Europe, started to look at the information that was coming into America. And the first thing I did, which I shared with my friend Patty Mead, I went right to the bank and I closed all of my stocks and got cash on hand, because I saw pretty much the writing on the wall and what was going to happen, okay? And if we follow in the footsteps of other countries, which the reality is, we're worse. We didn't plan even as well as they did. We have less equipment than they do. Now, what does that mean to you and to us in the beauty industry? It means that you're really going to have to be patient, and you're going to have to be careful, and you're going to have to understand that the way we lived as we know it pretty much is over. It's going to be a long time before we live like we're living now again. Things are going to be tighter. The good part is that people are getting back into nature and getting back into each other and getting back into themselves. And one of the things that I've been telling people throughout this whole thing is, what a great time to get out of what you do, look at what you do in an objective way, and really evaluate. What is it I need to know that I don't know that could really make a difference in what I'm trying to become? What do I need to learn to run a better their business. What am I learning from having to be stuck at home with COVID-19? And how long is this going to take place? Now, I can tell you the second thing I did, which I hope most of you were able to do, and that's to have some cash reserves. I mean, you have to, because for right now, this is it. This is where we are. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of ideas, and I have to grab my notes. Here's the first thing I would do on a personal basis. Okay, first, stay healthy. Be happy about the fact that you don't have the virus, because it is everywhere. So just be thankful that you and most of the people you know don't have it. Try to keep.
Geno, can I say something?
Certainly, of course.
You told me, I mean, I've been listening and we've been chatting quite often lately, but you said something to the effect of, if you want the silver lining, the biggest silver lining is that you're healthy and you're not sick, and no one close to you is. And that was a really, powerful statement. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, thank you very much, Nikki. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we probably should throw away 2020. And we should start thinking differently, new thinking. Will we get back to work? Yes, of course we will. Will it be different? Who really knows? What if they continue to say we have to keep social distancing to some point? That means we're only going to have a few people allowed in the salon at a time, a few people working in the salon at a time, and then we have to figure out how we're going to get that done. So it's going to be difficult. Some of the answers that a lot of you are looking for just aren't there. And they won't be there for a while. We're just going to have to work through this day by day and see what comes along. Here's what I do think. I think that most of us are going to be forced to change our lifestyle. And I don't necessarily want to say that we have to come down a step. What we're really going to do is just move into something that's a little bit different. People that have lived long enough to have worked through the last recession, or maybe the last two recessions, understand what it's like to all of a sudden go from having everything to having not too much. So I believe it's important that the days of living high on the hog, they're over until further notice. Now, I have to tell you, some of you that might live near me, I've been real careful to try to support my local neighborhoods, my restaurants, and make donations. And I just had my landscape architect come and had the guys put some mulch down for me. And some people were like, what the heck are you doing? I said, you know what? If you can, it's important to take care of the people that take care of you. It's important to take care of those businesses. Those are going to be some of the changes that we're going to see happen right now in the world. What are the changes that are going to happen to us in beauty? Cleanliness is now going to be the most important thing in the world. Everyone should be Barbicide certified. I believe that there'll be no more question about should we be licensed in America. I think they're going to understand that every one of you here that are licensed know that the first 3 months of licensing is all about sanitation. So I think that's going to be different. I think people are going to stop hugging and shaking hands for a while. It's a scary time. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but once they overcame the curve in China, if you look now at the news in China, it's back. It's back again. It's mutating. So they're having sort of a resurge. So all of us have to tighten up and prepare for the fact that this is going to be around for a while. So stay healthy, eat well, take vitamins, and they say lots of vitamin C, build your immunity. Next, end all unnecessary spending immediately. Business, personal, every way possible. Move to cheaper wine, drink the cheap vodka. It won't last forever. Just get in the habit now. Next, be realistic and understand that reality is seeing things the way that they are and not the way you'd like them to be. The reality is that there is a killer virus in our world, and it isn't going away anytime soon. So we have to be careful to understand, what are we going to do? It isn't about thriving. We're now about sustaining. Can you sustain? Can your business sustain?
Without a doubt.
Are you with me, Nikki?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Next, keep your home free of contamination, just so that you can have the peace of mind of knowing your home is safe. Don't let anybody in or out, and don't go in or out unless you really have to, especially if you're my age, or not even my age, but near my age. I mean, this stuff is happening. Next, pay attention and follow the rules. Next, have at least 30 days supply of food, medicine, personal needs, prescriptions, cash if you can because you're going to need it, and your family needs. Next, plan your days. I don't know what you did when this first happened, but when it first became that we were going to have a lockdown, that we were going to be asked to stay in. Here's the thing I promised everyone. I don't want to get the virus, and I don't want to give the virus to anyone. So I'm being very, very careful to pay attention to the rules. You know what I did? I sat down with Barb and said, look, if I get it, where do I go in the house? If you get it, where do you go? Look, if neither one of us get it, what do we do? How do I make a contribution to my beauty industry? How do I stay in touch with my beauty buddies and try to let them see and know what's going on and what's changing and how things are? How do I let them know that I've ended all frivolous spending, that I'm trying to be real careful where I go and what I do within my home? I built a list of projects of all the things I was going to do on my house, the books I was going to read, the things I was going to get into. We have to make this work for us. And I think the most important part of that, and Nikki, you and I have talked about this 1,000 times, and Iva, we have too, and that's this. What could you be learning right now? I mean, this is a great time to evaluate your business. Get back to what really matters. Look at what the new culture is going to be and look at your business and say, wow, how would it have been if I was a better accountant, or if I really took better care of my money? Or, you know, what we talk about all the time. People think that they can get themselves to where they want to be. I can never get myself to where I want to be. I have coaches and mentors in every aspect of my life. So it's a good time to be thinking about who are your coaches and who are your mentors and who's going to take you to the next level, who's going to help you at least see that there's a next level there. Now, because we're where we are today, forgive me for talking so fast, but I know Nikki's got a lot to say.
Take your time, Geno. Take your time.
Thank
I
you,
will.
Nikki. You know, I'm not going to say the same thing to her.
I know you
I
won't.
have
I know
to
you
be careful with her. So, okay. Now, let's talk about tactical thinking and your speed of action and stabilizing yourself, your business, your family. You know, right now we have nothing. In a little while, we're going to have an abundance, hopefully, of business and all the trimmings. You know, we need to adjust to that. We need to be prepared for that. We need to have a very flexible plan because nobody really knows what's going to happen. Should you borrow money? Maybe. I'm not, but I did apply. I want the 10 grand. I mean, I hope everybody applies. You should at least apply, get the money and figure out something you're going to do with it. But to borrow money is to mortgage your future. And you have to know that. You have to have that in the back of your mind. So you have to know that. But I mean, I went ahead and filed for unemployment. I hope you did too. Let's try to get, I've been paying unemployment for 30 years. Do you know how much I'd love to get one check? Because for 30 years, I couldn't fire myself and couldn't lay myself off. So if I just got one check, I'd be so, I mean, I'm going to do an actual free Zoom when I get my first check to let you know and see just how happy I am and how excited, which, by the way, you know, there's no reason we can't maintain a sense of humor through all this. We're the beauty industry. We're great people. I love us. I love everything we do. It's not like we have to get scared. It's that we have to get prepared. It's not like we have to get scared. It's like we have to follow the rules and do things right. Are you with me? If you're with me, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, good job. All right, next, just a quick little sip of wine for my throat. Medicinal. Next, if you are a salon owner or a leader, and we're going to talk about mentoring and talk about leadership, please know one thing: silence erodes trust. So get out and start to talk to everyone. Talk to everyone that you work with, talk to everyone that you work for, call up all of your bill people and talk to them, all of your creditors, talk to your landlord. There's ways to work out everything, but it's important to communicate effectively. And we have to remember that everyone is nervous. You know, people are different today. I mean, I can tell you, there's days I wake up and the anxiety just overcomes me. And all of a sudden I'm thinking that we're just all going to die. And I have to stop for a minute, have a couple shots of vodka, go out in my yard, relax, take a few deep breaths, play my guitar, and just realize that, hey, just pay attention, follow the rules, and everything's going to be okay. There's nothing wrong with anxiety. I just try to make it work for me. And I think a lot of people have that. So when you talk to anyone, whether it's employees, coworkers, friends, people are different today. They're scared. Nobody knows what the future is going to bring. Okay. I also think the cost of social media. I mean, last week, one of my children called and said, you have to drink hot water every 20 minutes and you have to put lemon in it. Just saw it online. It's really important. It ended up being just bogus crap. So who are you getting your information from? Who are you getting your knowledge from? Are they trusted resources? Let me tell you, if you see tomorrow, I'm going to put a post up that says, in Fauci, I believe. I believe in Tony Fauci. I believe in the CDC. I believe what Tony Fauci says. He's who I listen to. I think he's the best, biggest, and telling the most truth. I try to be careful about social media. I try to be careful about going online. Although I have to say I've been very humored by some of the things that people are doing since they've got so much free time. I, on the other hand, have done a Zoom or a podcast or a Facebook Live every single day. And I know Nikki and I, but you guys have been 24/7. So getting back to my schedule here, what were the past practices you used to run your business and your home before this? That's where you begin to evaluate. And then what will you change now? How will you change your budget, the way you run your business, how you talk to your people? We need a complete paradigm shift in our standards, our personality, and our business, in the way we treat our family, and the way we talk to each other, and just keeping our sanity and doing things right and finding a way to have fun, even though we're going to be depleted of many of the things we used to use to have fun. You follow where I'm coming from? Getting back to reality and understanding what's to come and how to prepare for it and dealing with the unknown versus what we know now. So what can you learn? What can you learn from this? What can you learn in regard to, first of all, family? Not only should you get in touch closer, tighter, deeper with your family, my goodness, some of us have lost major touch with ourselves. Get in touch with yourself. What do you really want? What really makes you happy? What really makes you who you are? You know, get in touch with your team. People matter most at times like this. Help the people around you. Find a way to support your team. Help those that have anxiety. I don't know if you are, but I'm dealing with 30 or 40 phone calls a day from people saying, I can't handle this, or how do I handle that? And I'm doing the same thing, calling others and saying, look, how do I handle this? Send more Xanax. I need help. You know, we're all kind of going through the same thing together. But here's the most important part. You've got to plan your budget, both personal and business. This will become an economic crisis. It really will. So you're going to have to talk to your creditors. You're going to have to cut all the fat, and we're going to have to wait for this restarting of the economy. But it's not like we're going to push a button and go back to work in July and everything's going to be great. We have to be prepared for whatever's going to happen next. So I can tell you one thing. All Nikki and I and Iva have been talking about is, what if we can't put on the next seminar? What if we can't do our salon owner seminar? What if we can't do, I mean, we can't wait to do Mentor and Masters. Those of you that are on here that were with us last year, my God, we had so much fun and such a great program. However, it's probably going to be done online. There probably are going to be no big shows this year. We're just going to have to wait and see what they say in regard to social gathering. Did you want to add, Nikki?
No, I was just going to say, well, whenever you're done, I'm mesmerized right now. Go ahead.
Geno,
Yes.
You are on the big show.
I'm sorry?
You are on the big show right now.
Oh, thank you very much. That's what it's all about. All right. I'm going to let Nikki give you a little bit of insight, not only into what I talked about, but Nikki does much better at planning than I do. So Nikki, come right in and let's go from the there is no reality or your reality to Nikki and the new reality.
So guys, thank you so much, Geno, for the intro. And I want to say firstly that I completely agree with you on the statement that you made, on so many statements, but the one statement is that people matter most. It's been my mantra almost every day. And, you know, I've seen people that are very well known in this industry have full on breakdowns. I just heard of someone today that we love dearly having a full crying session on Instagram because she's just overwhelmed by things, trying to hold it all together. And I know that we're all trying to hold it together. And I want to speak to that. And I think this is why I've just dove so deeply into what the answers can be to sustain you guys during this time. Because the fear of seeing this industry just implode with, you know, 100,000 salon owners, half 50% of them just implode, would be crushing to me. Right, Geno? Wouldn't that just be just tragic? I mean, it's just, and
you're exactly right, Nikki. And you know what? Like we've told people 1,000 times, that's really what drives us. I mean, that's what's made us sit down and say, what's the best thing we can bring to these people? And you know what? When you talk, Nikki, about people, about the criers, I'm a crier. I mean, we're all going through this. You know, in some ways, we really are all in this together. And that's the best thing about this Beauty Biz Reset. Anytime any one of you feel lost, you can get on every night and visit with one of us, with somebody who knows us, loves us, lives us.
yes. And so and I'll share later my little breakdown that I had yesterday. It was the first breakdown I kind of had. So as anyone who knows me personally knows that I literally do my best to never cry or have a breakdown. I try to be a rock to everybody. And so it was a very, very difficult thing for me.
It was I knew the minute I heard your voice yesterday, and I've never quite heard you like that. And I was kind of glad you were like that, because that's kind of what I said to you when I thought, I've always been the fun guy and the inspirational source to the beauty industry. And now I have to tell the truth about where we are and what's to come. Not that we can't have humor, but you really rocked me yesterday, Nikki, when I talked with you in the morning.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to keep it together yesterday, but yesterday was a tough day for me. And I'll share with you a little bit as to why. But I think that, as Geno says, there's no reality. It's because we're living in such a surreal state. Who would have thought 2 months ago or a month ago that we would be talking about closures? When we first heard of closures being 2 weeks, I mean, I was appalled. I was like, hell no, I'm not closing for 2 weeks. You've got to be crazy, right? But then here we are talking 10 weeks. So all of a sudden, the surreal nature of our life, the reality of what we knew it to be, is no longer in existence. And I think that's what Geno means by the no reality. And the faster we accept that, and the faster we push out of that, then the more we can get down to business and taking care of what we need to take care of, which is in the new reality. And that is to prepare. And Jim Rohn, it's one of my most favorite presentations from Jim Rohn. And I love Jim Rohn all the way around. One of the most incredible speakers. But he gave this presentation called Winter Season. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but if you haven't, maybe YouTube it after this and listen to it a little bit. And I think it will give you some solace. But I've listened to it probably 4 times in the last 2 weeks. But he speaks on how the things about seasons is they are always the same. You can't change them. You can't put summer, before winter. You can't put winter before summer. You've got to go with the seasons the way that they are. And when we are in a down state like we are right now, and that's the winter, and there's lots of different kinds of winters. There's economic winters, which our country is seeing unparalleled and unprecedented in a way that we've never seen. Health-wise, in every way, we're experiencing a winter. But know this for sure, that the thing about winter is spring always comes after it, right? And so we have to prepare and do better during the winter and squirrel away our nuts and make sure that we're figuring out how to survive more lean and closing in inside with each other. And then when the spring comes and things start to bloom and blossom again, we can be better prepared for it. And I think that when the summer comes and we can celebrate again and be together again, then that's how life works. It's always this up and down, ebb and flow of things. And it's so much truth to it that I wanted to share that with you guys just a little bit this evening. But no matter how long the winter is, preparation for me is key. And it's because you have to remain the constant in all things dynamic. And I'll mention that near the end of my presentation this evening. But the statement that keeps coming back to me again and again is people matter most and stay the constant in the dynamic changes of every single day, Nikki. Just no matter what happens, say it again, say it again, say it again, right? And so I want you guys to understand that preparation is critical to your success and to your sustainability. Honestly, we have to lower our standards just a little bit at this point, in my opinion. And I think that's the reality that I want to speak on, is that, whatever our level of success was before, and whatever our standard of level of living, of opulence and expectations and entitlement before, has to all change at this point. We need to reevaluate what our expectations are and what our standards of living are. And we have to do better at that. And we have to understand what it's like to be in survival mode, right? And I'll speak about that a little bit later. But
I hope you will, Nikki, because you know what? So many people, they don't even know what survival mode is. They've never experienced it. I know that you come from a background similar to mine, where the first years of our life were all about survival. And
right.
I think when you have that, it makes maybe not this easier, but at least
you have a higher tolerance for the pain.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that some of us who haven't experienced a lot of survival mode or a lot of crisis in our life, and we haven't learned to turn our own personal self-interest into serving the world in a strong world centricity type of way of living, and we haven't expanded our leadership in that way, that it's very difficult for us to think about others in the time of crisis. And you'll hear us say this again and again. Crisis brings out the truth and the realness in everything. You know, when you're put to the test, that's why you want to, when you have a new boyfriend or a new relationship, you want to wait till you have a couple crises, and then you can see exactly how people handle it. But in crisis, you see the real people come out. And we are seeing that every single day. We see who's willing to step up to the plate and give, and who's not, who's still trying to sell, which I'm not negating selling. Everyone has to make a living right now, especially right now. But who's willing to give and to sacrifice for our community and our world. And I think that's very, very important. So in that preparation, I want to share with you guys a concept that I really thought about, that I applied to myself first. I'm my own guinea pig, and that's managing your time and your productivity. And now, with all of the excess of time that you have, what will you do? And I like to call it launching pads. And the reason I want to call it launching pads is because after this winter, we are going to launch into the spring and the summer seasons. And then in the fall, before this might happen again, we're going to squirrel away and we're going to harvest and we're going to plant and we're going to prepare, right? So now at this point, we need to change and alter our mode of operation in order to survive through an unprecedented global crisis, unlike any other global crisis that this world has ever seen, really, to date. And so we can say that we are the generation that is living through this. And the tough stuff that this will teach us, and then the nettle that this will build in us, is going to be unbelievable. The ones that choose to learn that. And you brought up a great point earlier about what you can learn. So here are what I think your launching pads need to be. And this is your task list, guys. This is what you need to be worrying about doing now. And so the first launching pad, preparing your pad with all of the work in it so that you can launch from it later, is the now pad. Your most critical elements, your immediate task to get yourself into a sustainable mode so your business doesn't shut down, or you don't lose your staff, or you don't lose your friends, or you don't lose your family, or you don't lose yourself.
Beautiful.
Right?
Nikki, Iva, we've created this so that they can download it, right? And they can print it. So everyone that's listening, you can get a print of everything we're talking about, so that
Right.
you can have sort of a scratch sheet to start with. Go ahead, Nikki.
Right. So in your now pad, you have your most immediate task. This is why I'm so focused on loans and unemployment. As you guys have seen, it's been Iva and our just literally daily task to the tune of 15, 20 hours a day. And the reason for that is because if you don't have money coming in, we have to find where the money is going to come from. Rather it's a grant, rather it's a loan, rather it's unemployment, rather it's a borrow from an investor friend, rather you have savings and reserves already set up and you've been smart to prepare for that, rather you have a retirement plan that you can draw from without 10% penalty on it. Whatever you can do at this point, that the CARES Act, this new legislation that has been brought into play for you guys, has been a huge step up, in my opinion, from our governing body. Now,
Spectacular.
I know
I agree.
We can talk about
Wonderful.
who you
Nikki.
like, who you don't like. It's okay. But and the CARES Act, of course, has holes. It's the initial legislation. It's only in phase 3. However, as phase 4 and phase 5, we can hone down, and you're going to see them creating more narrow focus on certain bodies and certain groups of people that they can help more that maybe this CARES Act did not cover. And so, but that is the small business administration, small business community in this country is the first priority right now. And lucky that we get to be a part of that group. Yes, even though the beauty industry is, in my opinion, probably the most impacted industry, or one of the most impacted industries out of all of them, I believe that that's why they're focused so much on that. We have the benefit that the small business focus is so strong with this CARES Act. You need to make sure your employee payroll is going on. You guys have heard me speak on this 100 times with lives and videos. Please go to the Statements Project Facebook. I have filmed really long lives with Iva on all these topics. We don't have enough time to talk about that today, but you need to get your employees' payroll, because as the leader and the business owner, it is your responsibility to make sure that they are okay and that they can make a living too somehow. Rather, you either lead and help them to unemployment, or you get a loan, which is an incredibly frustrating task.
Hey, Nikki, just let me ask you something really quick. And this came up like a dozen times today. And I know that obviously with SBA opening, I'm sure that your ears are bleeding right now with all the calls that you got. And as a matter of fact, I live on Elm Street, so I wore my Nightmare on Elm Street shirt for you today. I feel really bad. I finally got done with homeschooling this week.
Very creative. Very creative.
I like it.
But two things kept coming up: is salon owners that we know that have funding, and salon owners that we know that don't have anything in the bank. So in terms of salon owners that actually have some funding, do you think it's just as applicable for them to try to get funding so they don't go through and burn through that nest egg? And what about salon owners that don't have anything? Is it just as applicable both ways?
James,
if you don't,
Nikki, I'm going to let you, I know you know this, Nikki, but James, if we can get it, especially right now.
Listen, I'm determined, Geno, to have my picture on your wall with all the Heifetz kids. So
I hear you. I hear it.
Make sure it happens.
So James, let me give you the most simple answer to the now pad. If you don't take care of this now pad, nothing else will matter. You will be at home and you will not have a business and you will not have a team. So you will not survive this. This is not going to go 6 or 8 weeks. This is not going to go 8, 10 weeks. This is going to last longer. You will see loss of revenue much longer than this. Geno and I have some different takes on that. They may reopen. You may think it's going to be gangbusters when it's going. And Jackie, you did an amazing job yesterday. I loved your presentation. You gave some creative, innovative ideas to come back strong with care collections and marketing. Brilliant job on that. And so I won't repeat a lot of that. Follow Jackie for that, guys, because she gave some amazing information about that. But your now pad is in order to survive. And if you don't do this, there is no thriving after. And so just forget about it. Just close up your shop, call it a day. And some of you have lost the heart in it because maybe it's too overwhelming or it's too much. And I'm going to say something that you might hate my guts for, or you might love me for, I don't know. But this industry has allowed a lot of amateur chess players into the game of business, and they have not been playing the game correctly. And we've allowed it to go on a very long time. Now, I believe very much in the independent model. I love it, and I think it's great if it's done properly. But if it hasn't been done properly, what we're doing is we're diluting our industry with a lot of business owners that really honestly shouldn't be business owners because they don't have the skill set and the business acumen to do it yet. It's like they're entering a chess game and they don't know how to play.
They haven't earned the right, Nikki.
Right. And again, I'm not saying that no one feels, I'm not suggesting that you don't have a right to play, but you've got to get better prepared. The game of being a business owner today is incredibly different than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. The way the
cost of doing business is higher than it's ever been before, right?
Absolutely. The expectation of this generation of workforce is no longer, they will no longer accept the same rules that we played at 20 years ago. It just won't. So you have to learn how millennials are going to act, how younger generations, Gen X, will act. You have to understand these younger generations. You have to alter the way you think. And the way we grew up was scrub the floor for minimum wage, and you might not even get paid if you don't have clients. That was an expected thing and an acceptable thing. That's no longer acceptable. Compliance laws have changed. Everything has changed. And we need to make sure that we stay up to date on that and all those compliance things. Geno said it a million times. You've got to make sure you call all creditors at this point if you have not done so far, and you have to shut those things down. I don't care if they say you have to pay the rent. If you don't have the money, shut it down and say, I will pay the rent when I get it. I'm working on getting money right now. This is a time of forgiveness right now. And the CARES Act will not allow in the phase 4 and phase 5 for them to evict you or do anything like that right now, guys. So you just need to make sure that you take care of you and make sure you have money to survive and sustain. And then all those creditors will come back around, and you follow through and you pay them when the time comes and you have the money, okay? But make sure you're keeping documentation of everything. At this point in time, all of you guys need to have folders like this. These are going to be your pads. In each pad, I want you to document each thing. This is the now pad. What are my tasks now? Checklist it off. Make sure it's done. You don't know what to do. You're confused. You're lost. You're crying. You're hysterical. Start working on your next project, okay?
Hey, Nikki, Reese posted something in our group here on Zoom, and it's an interesting point. It says, if you're going to be a business owner, you can't act like you're an employee in situations like this and wait for everyone else to give you answers. But that
Right.
also brings up a whole nother point is when we're all in this waiting game and don't really know, you know,
Right.
some employees may be unemployment eligible, some may not. Like, what do you
Right.
think? Do we still have to wait another week or so till the dust settles?
Yes, those are very philosophical questions right now. But Geno, you want to touch on that?
I just want to say one thing, James. We don't know. No one knows. So everything is day by day right now. However, any possible thing you can apply for, apply for. Let them tell you you don't fit. Let them tell
Right.
you don't, but apply for everything right now. That's what every smart person is doing. And some people are just waiting, like kind of like Reese said, some people are just waiting for someone to tell them how to do it. And you know, we don't have time today. When your boat is sinking, the first thing you want to do is stop the water from getting
Right.
into your boat. Right. So go ahead.
I said something today. James, you were saying something?
Oh no, I just said, you know, it's so physical responsibility. If you are someone that was able to have some of those funds saved up and things like that, but you're still waiting for state or federal or county guidelines, you know, obviously as owners, we're founded on health and wellness of our staff, but we're also stuck in a position where we don't know it's not a matter of what we're legally responsible for. We also don't want it to backfire. So God forbid if any of our staff said we're struggling with anything, whether it was getting Lysol supplies or whatever, we would jump in a heartbeat just as humans and as people that work together. But, you know, in terms of paychecks and things like that, we just don't know. I mean, we have some people that qualify for unemployment, some people that haven't. We're sort of in the same waiting game to say, I can write you a check if you need it as a friend or as family almost, but I don't know how that's going to shake out in terms of payroll and all that thing down the line.
Well, let me kind of give you the big picture viewpoint on that. That I have had the opportunity to talk to some other people that can give those kind of perspectives to me. The first thing that I want to point out here is that we can be discussing an economic crisis for this whole entire hour and a half. However, I think it's very important to keep in mind that this is a health crisis first, above and beyond. And so we have to learn to put and prioritize the health crisis above the economic crisis. That being said, all of your economic work in the now pad of getting things sustainable and making sure you have the proper funding, whether you have reserves or not.
Well said.
The fact is, if you have 50,000 in the bank, that's wonderful. But will 50,000 carry your team compensation wise for, 10 weeks, 12 weeks? Probably not. And if you have 6, 10 people, it'll burn it right up. All the $50,000 will be gone, and then you'll be negative. And then what are you going to do? And then you're going to wait for business to stream back in, and then you got all the creditors banging at your door. You have to still get yourself sustainable. To me, that's not enough. To me, you need 2.5 times, like the PPP loan ratio, above and beyond what you need to survive, and then to carry yourself further into this. And then what if this happens again? What are you going to have in reserves then? So again, prepare for the future, squirrel away your nuts, get really tight with all your spending, and we'll talk a little bit about that throughout all of our 4 classes that we do with you guys. And tonight is not a financial conversation though. Tonight is going to be a topical conversation to address what you need to be getting done now to give you guys some clarity in order to just stop the madness just a little bit and stop the world from spinning so much, and then give you a new sense of reality into what it is. But to answer your question, James, very simply, in my perspective, is that the VE, just today, the Virginia Employment Commission has not updated their website yet. They are still trying to do it to reflect the new PUA regulations. This is countrywide. Who will have answers if the Unemployment Commission has not updated their information and their style and their tactics and their
And
systems?
that's a great point, Nikki, because that's exactly where we are. You know, it's kind of funny to say, but the truth of the matter is, no one knows.
Right.
No one really knows right now. So,
Right. You don't
but
know what others are going to do, but you know
absolutely
what you can do. Right.
right. That's exactly right. Now, is there a family pod too?
So yeah, there's a family pad, which means start to invest. You know, all that investment you did into your business beforehand. And then how many of you at this point have seen and recognized and felt the silver lining of getting more time with your family? How many of you were begging and dreaming of having 10 weeks off on vacation without worrying about it and getting paid to do it? Well, get the damn PPP loan and take 10 weeks off and stop complaining. This is your vacation. It's a gift, for God's sake. And then build your family pad. Invest in your family.
I wonder if it's too late to try to get my family back, Nikki. Let me see
Yes.
what I can do. You think
Yes.
it's too late, Iva?
Yeah. And then the team pad is, can make sure you have ongoing tasks. You have ongoing communication. You have ongoing leadership. You are delegating to certain people. You are continuing to teach whatever you're learning on the Beauty Business Reset. Teach your team. If they're not on the team, if they're not on the Beauty Business Reset already, calm them, inspire them. Make sure you're communicating constantly. And I'm going to share a little story with you about that. So yesterday, my breakdown was over my team. I have felt, and I might be tooting my own horn, I don't know, to listen that I was listening to myself, and I was like posting on our team statements Facebook page, and I was, you know, personally talking to everyone. I'm personally texting everyone. I'm personally doing these little things to everyone. And I thought, my God, I'm like going above and beyond. I'm such a damn good leader. Oh my God, like really? And then all of a sudden yesterday, there's all kinds of salon drama because of the unemployment. We've had some unemployment getting denied. And so now they are infuriated at me because they see it as my fault. And I have not communicated with them because I don't have the answers. So I don't know what's opposed to them. And it was 2 days. So I let 2 days go by. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm doing a good job, but I let 2 days go by without communicating. And sure enough, they're hateful right now towards me. And so anyway, I feel that, and I'm sharing that's a very vulnerable share for me because I don't share a lot of my private stuff, only with my very, very close people. But I had a mental breakdown about it. I was just like, what the, and I'm going to not say the F word, but I mean, I literally had a breakdown because I was just like, what am I not doing? What I realized is I had to be accountable as a leader, that I failed them to some degree because I did not post for 2 days and I did not share my information of what I was doing. Instead, I was expecting them to know. And so that you think you're communicating well enough, you're not. Even as much of communication as I was, I think that you need to make sure that you push and you just keep communicating and you give them a little leeway. You know, I was screaming last night. I was like, I mean, what about me? Like, I don't have to worry about everybody else.
Well, Nikki,
but it was a breakdown. I'm over it.
It's beautiful though, because you're being real, and we're all having breakdowns right now. And one of the things I had mentioned earlier was it's very important to understand that people are seeing things in a very different way. They're hearing things in a very different way. You know, sometimes when people are scared, everything moves in. It's all about me. It's like you had said earlier. And we have to get people to open up a little bit and realize in some ways we really are all in this together and we really can help each other. But I believe communication, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit in the upcoming half hour, but I believe communication will be different from now on. It'll never be quite the same.
Right. So I guess my call to action on that would be communicate more than you think you need to, and give them a little leeway, but be vulnerable with them too, because after the vulnerability, I think that they really understood me, because I made a Facebook post and I cried on it, which I never do. They've never seen me cry. So
you made everybody see that you were human, Nikki, and you know, a lot of times if all you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. I mean, if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. So then you're done. You can't drive yourself or anybody, you know, insane as a result. Anyway, yes.
So then your client pads, I think right now we need to start thinking about all the innovative ways. I mean, other than color kits, guys. Color kits, I'm not going to don't ask me any questions about color kits, okay?
Nikki, what about the color kits? How do you really feel about that?
I don't want to talk about the color
okay.
Mm-hmm. You guys do what you need to do to survive. I have no judgment there.
How do you feel about the color kits, Nikki?
You know,
Yeah,
I
no,
would
no, 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 no. Go ahead. Go
I'd
ahead.
rather
What,
avoid that.
what do you have a friend pad too? Because I know you have a lot of friends.
Yes, yes, I do. So the client pad is to make sure that you are communicating with them, that when you are saving all their information, that you are preparing for their packages, as Jackie explained yesterday. I won't get too much into that because I think we'll leave that up to Jackie. But near the end of this presentation, I'll talk a lot about that. But there's more things you can do for your clients than just color kits or retail. You can do a lot of things. You can do ongoing promotions with them through your social media, just for games, you know, just to have fun, things like that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So moving on, your friend pad, Doug Cox and I had the opportunity to talk, and Geno and I talked. So I feel very lucky that I get to talk to some pretty brilliant, wise people in this industry. And he shared something with me, and it reflected what Geno said, which is people matter most. And he said, one of the biggest things you should do right now is reach out to 5 people a day, 5 times. Take your days that you do nothing right now, or spend with time. If you're with your kids, it's fine. But when you're not with your kids, reach out to 5 of your friends and reach out and ask them, what can I do for you? Are
Boy,
you okay?
I'm not only right there with you, Nikki, but I know Derek and I had some laughs talking about growing up in Jersey. I've been talking to all of my friends, salon owners, educators in New York City, just saying, how are you holding up? I mean, that's the epicenter of the country. Just lending a little piece of my heart, kind of like you're saying.
Yes, as much as possible, because I mean, look at this beauty business reset, guys. Look at how many friends we've made because of this. I mean, think about that. We have a whole new community created in this beauty business from this crisis, and how many people have connected in the heart. It's just incredible. So reach out. Relationships are critical at this time. People matter most. The community pad, guys, is how you can give back to your community. Look at your community and what they need. Maybe there's something that is the local, you know, hospital, or just a local shelter, or maybe you could bring some food to the homeless shelter right now, even though you might be worrying about what you're going to do to feed yourself. I mean, giving brings things back. And so I think we need to make sure that we are giving back to our community as well.
Or support, you know, you're right, Nikki, support your local businesses. You know, we're making a point of eating out at least once a week and
Yes.
getting food to go from our favorite restaurants. We just made a contribution to 2 of our favorite bartenders that we know have nothing at all, just like us, you know,
Right.
and just, you know, you're right. That's beautiful. And community always comes back to us in special ways.
Well, community is the next step in leadership before you become world centric. And so I think we really need to be aware that if we expand ourselves in that way, we will develop stronger leadership skills in the future for it. The next pad is going to be your financial pad. You need to start separating your personal and business. In the hundreds of conversations I've had with people, there's a lot of mixing of personal and business right now. You know, they're like, well, I'm unemployed, but then do I get the loan? How would I support my mortgage? I'm like, no, 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 no. It's all separate. You go for something to support yourself personally, and you go for something to support your business. And that has to stay separate. You guys as business owners, you've learned to mix a little bit too much in that, and we have to learn to keep those as separate as possible. Start to drop down in how you're spending significantly so that you can start saving. It's very, very important. And to start to just categorize all the things in your financial categories that you need to start taking care of. Start doing budgets more than you've ever done in your life right now. It will give so much clarity. Yeah.
Yes.
The business pad is going to be your pricing, and we will be discussing pricing pretty heavily in down the line. I'm also teaching pricing on Tuesday at 3 p.m. after you go on Olaplex users group, Geno. And I'm going to be focused for about an hour and 15 on just how to focus.
Are you on right after me?
Yeah, I think so. Well, like
I'll talk about you. I'll talk about you and how they should listen to you because you're so
Thanks, Geno. So I'm going to be talking a lot about pricing strategies, looking at the cost of goods, looking at your inventory, looking at what services to raise, what services maybe not to raise right now in order to recoup some of this loss. And so we need to make sure that we look at our pricing and then upselling as well. Jackie pointed on some of those really key things yesterday, but we need to figure out what we've lost, how we can recoup them, and from what areas of our business can we recoup. Pricing is going to be the number one way for you to drive higher revenue levels up. So that's going to be critical that you do the pricing work right now. We've given free access to our business class, www.statementstrong.com. It's our online business academy. It's a robust business academy. It will take you probably a year to 2 years to get through. And we're giving a month free. So that access, you just use the code GIFT 2020, and we will put that on the landing page all after this. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but so don't ask a million questions about that. It'll be on the landing page afterwards. Okay. So just put in that code. It'll be free to you and you'll bypass the pay part of it. There's a whole entire module on there just on pricing. You can watch that module. It's 6 weeks of watching. And I will also teach a lot of classes on here as well in nutshell pricing to try to get you guys to calculate your numbers to project the future. Okay. And then the last path, the most important one is you. You know, you've heard this said a million times, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. There are times when you're going to have to just shut that down. I told everyone on the live the day before, yesterday, actually. I said this morning, I'm not going to answer any calls. I'm not going to do any social media. I have to apply for my loan and I have to get it done. And so I'm not going to do anything else. It was my oxygen mask and it was my U-pad. That means it was my time. And I had to focus on that. And no one else, I didn't want anyone else to kind of intervene in that. And so it was a really, really good thing. We started very early in the morning. We got it done.
And I tried to call you all day.
No, you didn't.
Darn it.
You texted me like one time, whatever. And then I want to come back to what Geno said to me about a sanity plan. What are the things you're doing in your life right now to create some sanity? What, you know, are you gardening? Are you whatever? What are your hobbies? Go back to what you love to do. I mean, my God, why all the complaining about I'm bored, blah, blah, blah. Figure out how to keep yourself busy for another 6 or 7 weeks, okay? And if it's nothing but taking a damn nap and sleeping on the couch with your kids for 4 hours, fine, or 2 days, I don't really care. Do whatever you want to do. But the fact is we have to figure out a sanity plan and how that works for you. And you know, no one can tell you what that is, but I can tell you the other thing that you really should be trying to do is staying a little fit. And I'm not saying you have to work out 8 hours a day. I'm saying take a walk and figure out on how we can keep your body feeling strong, because our clarity and our mindset and our hearts feel a little differently when we're a little bit healthier, when we're not. So right
I
now,
know,
we have to keep ourselves
Nikki,
strong.
did you see the
No,
the
what?
Facebook post? Do you know Little Debbie's snacks?
No. Oh yeah. But I
Yeah.
haven't.
Have you seen the
whatever.
thing that's on Facebook right now on Instagram? Little Debbie has become Big Deborah because she's eating so much.
I know. My
Yeah.
mom said something the other night. I went up there and she was laid on the bed and we watched the movie together. And she says, "Oh my God, all I do is lay in bed, sleep, eat, get up, sleep, eat, get up,
Yeah.
sleep, eat. All I do is eat and sleep. What the heck?" You know, I mean, she's like bitching and screaming about it. I was like, "Well, get up. I mean, you know, do something else." Anyway.
Yes, indeed. You know, you were talking about being bored, Nikki, and I try to tell people all the time that usually people that are bored are very boring. And you have to be careful that there's a lot of things you could get into. You know, not only
Right.
can you get into health, but you can catch up on movies and read books. And my goodness, I don't know how people could be bored. I mean, still can't find enough time in the day.
We were just saying this morning, we're so damn busy. So a couple more thoughts, and I'm going to pass it the buck onto Geno here. The future, guys, understand that reality might be no reality now. We might be planning for a new reality, but at the end of the day, what we're really living in is a fluid reality. And you have to survive and sustain in fluid reality states is you have to have some super audacious adaptability states. Which means that you better be willing to adapt on a dime without thinking about it, without bitching about it, without complaining about it. Pick up the fight, develop a fighting attitude, change your mindset, don't make excuses for yourself, and get the hell out of your own way. Okay.
I love it.
And I can say this. I just said to Oscar this morning, the coaches that are pulling together in this beauty industry at this time has been unlike anything I've ever seen in over 30 years of being in this business. I have never in my life seen the way coaches have pulled together, whether we know each other or we don't. We have pulled together, we have fought together, we have tried to give the best. This beauty industry will be pulled straight up by their bootstraps because of the coaching teams and the salon owners that are trying their damnedest to make sure this beauty industry survives. So you guys, you're doing an amazing, amazing job. Prepare, get your mindset right, and have the fight and stay adaptable. Okay, Geno, floor is yours.
I loved that. Thank you so much. I loved everything you said, but I mostly loved
Geno,
your
I got to jump in for one quick comment.
Please.
Everybody knows I was a Marine, right? I think Nikki was a Marine. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Honestly, our steps, right, are number one when you're in the battle, triage, right? And that's what Nikki's teaching. triage right now. Take care of your problems, financial, all that. That's fixing the wounds, right? Number 2, regroup. She's teaching the lessons to regroup. And number 3, attack. She hit them all. I'm telling you, she's a Marine.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I
think
could
you're
be
probably-
Marine, Derek. I really could, honestly. I probably could.
There's no doubt in my mind you could be, although you would be a very special Marine.
Stop.
No, you'd be very special. Nikki, the last thing I want to say, kind of to join in with what you had closed with, was don't lose sight of faith, everyone. And I don't want to get religious crazy, but tonight, earlier today, the governor of Maryland, who I just love, Larry Hogan, came on and said that on Sunday at noon, he wants everyone to just stop the world and pray together for a minute, just about our future and about the people that aren't with us anymore, and about 10,000 people died in Spain and all these things. And I just thought that it was wonderful that not only did he bring that up, I just want to say before I go into mentoring, all of us are close somehow to first responders, and we really have to make a point of taking great care of all of them.
Yes.
Finding a way to thank it and respect it and love all of them for putting, somebody was talking to me about, well, I'm out of work, and I thought, it might not be bad to be out of work. At least you're not involved in what's happening, today. So by all means, if you have time, noon on Sunday, pray for everybody, for yourself and for everybody. So I think that's a part of mentoring. And I love what Nikki said, and I love what Derek's doing. And I love, let me tell you, our industry is more prepared for this chaos than any government or industry I know. We're taking such advantage of having this time for all of us to get out, look back at our businesses, look back at ourselves, and think about, mentoring to someone is one thing, but you actually mentor yourself. The things you say to yourself and the things you talk to yourself about, and all of you that know me know that I believe there's greatness inside everyone. I think we were all built for greatness. I just think most people don't have the time to get the greatness out. Well, now you do. You have the time to work on it and bring out your greatness and become a great mentor first to you, so that you can then bring that leadership and mentoring and ideas and fundamentals and solution-oriented thinking to the other people around you. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand that there is a training solution to every problem and issue out there.
Yep.
There are training solutions. This is what Nikki and Iva and I talk about all the time. Well, here's the issue. What is the training solution? Where do we go next?
Yes.
So here's what I think in mentoring today, because I promise you life has changed. And the faster you can make that paradigm shift, the easier it's going to be an effective mentor. Here's why. The thought process of others is different. All of a sudden, the thing I care about more than anything is me. And now it's going to be a little difficult to get back into an everyone mentality. People are afraid, people are nervous. And, one of the things you have to be careful of is when people become afraid, they tighten up and they get alone. They want to be, they want to be quiet, and they don't realize that science erodes trust. Silence erodes trust. And if you're silent, people begin to wonder where you are, which is like when Doug said, talk to 5 people 5 times a day. Now, I always do that, but I've been especially careful these last few weeks to do it to everyone, not to mention every day I send an old photo to all of my sisters. Just something to happy Monday, happy Tuesday. I think right now I have to remind them what day it is, because every day's the same anymore. And since we're not working. So how will we perceive the changing world? How will the changing world perceive us? And what is it that's going to happen that's going to make things different? I think it's important that we slow down, pay attention, become aware of this time that you have with you, maybe to sit and meditate on what are the gifts that you can bring to others, what are the special things you can share with others. And in regard to the beauty industry, remember that cleanliness is going to be the most important thing in the world now. It's what everybody's looking for. And do you know something? When I was talking earlier about what have you learned from this pandemic, do you know that 5 years ago, Bill Gates had a speech and predicted this? And he said, it's weird that I believe no one will be prepared. And the only countries that were really prepared, look at them and study. They've really handled this in a way where I'm a little bit embarrassed by the mentorship and leadership in my country and what we've done. The next thing to remember in mentoring is that you are your own best teacher. You really do know what you need. This is a good time to stop, stay calm, and just evaluate, what do I need to be a better leader? What do I need? And what I call that all the time is filling the gap. You want to fill the gap between where you are and where you could be. You want to fill the gap between what you know and what you could know. One of the things I share with people at seminars all over the world is the last question I ask myself every night, Geno, what is it you don't know that if you did know would make a difference in what you're trying to become? What's missing in this head of mine? What's missing in my world? Because we sometimes sell ourselves short. So to be a great mentor, you have to have great answers and great information and great ideas. And that all starts right here. So get in the habit of filling your gap so that you're always looking at what can I do best. One of the things I talk about all the time, and I know I'm going to bring Nikki back, is the pleasure that we have working together. Because usually I can tell you what to do and sometimes why to do it. And Nikki can tell you step by step exactly how to do it. So we've formed a great, not only team in teaching, but we are momentary mentors to each other all the time. And then whenever we get lost, Iva pulls us right back in, tightens things up, and tells us where we're going. And that's the kind of support, the kind of people, the kind of things you need around you. Nikki, join in. What are you thinking?
So I want to speak on something that I heard just the other day, that as we are adults working every single day, running a pace that's faster than we can imagine, we are developing expertise on a daily basis. And we speak on expertise and developing expertise a lot in our Mentor and Masters program, and how important it is to find your deep passion, but more than just your passion, your expertise. A lot of people have passion for something that they have no expertise in. And so you got to find what you have expertise in, that level of expertise that you have in whatever that may be. It could be just, baking. It could be anything you want it to be. But if you find that, the thing about learning and growing and mentorship is that it's completely yin and yang, and you'll hear us talk about that in a little bit, but it's sort of like fits in, it's like water, and it's very fluid. And that's what Geno and I do really beautifully, and Iva, the three of us sort of just like kind of just fluid fit. And at times when somebody's missing
Nikki,
something, we feel bad.
I don't want to cut you off, but you're so right, and you led me to a thought, and that is that when you learn how to master something, it bleeds into everything else. When you become, like when you're talking about baking, when you become a master baker, that mastership leads into everything else that you do. So it makes a difference in every aspect.
Right. So the first step really is to find your expertise.
Choices. Yeah, please go ahead.
Right. I mean, the first point is really about finding your expertise. There are certain things that I do well that Geno might defer to me on. And there's certain things that Geno does well or thinks about well and has more wisdom than me, and I'll defer to him on. And there's certain things that I'm like, shit, where's Iva? Get Iva, let her do it. You know what I mean? Because she has the expertise in that. Just like today we called Oster. We're like, Oster, we need your help on this. And he was like, yeah, dude, let me show you. And this is kind of how you work together. And that's how mentorship works. I know, I'm sorry. Okay. But I'm going to say it again, probably.
That's okay.
Okay. So I guess what I just want to say is that the beginning of mentorship is developing your expertise, just like you said in the beginning, how to develop mentorship in anything. And why is mentorship important now? Why are we even talking about mentorship? It's because if you don't step up to the plate right now, if you're listening to this program and you're learning all of this, what are you doing it for? You're doing it so that you can share it with the people that you know in your teams or in your business with each other. That's mentorship. You are developing expertise in this program in order to translate it and completely put it out for everyone else later. And I heard someone say to me, and she's a very wise friend of mine that I rely on quite a bit because she's just so matter of fact. She goes, Nikki, because I was doubting myself a little bit there, in this crisis. I had a moment where I was like, again, in a small moment, not like yesterday, but a small moment, I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I'm doing all of this right. What could I be doing better? And she goes, dude, listen, expertise and being a mentor is nothing more than staying one step ahead of the game. And if you stay one step ahead of the game, especially when things are constantly fluid and changing and adapting, then you have the right to say, I can show you that. And so
Right
that's
on,
what
baby.
you're doing effectively with this program. You're learning so that you can translate it and you're one step ahead of the others. Yes?
Yes, right on.
Okay. So I'm going to touch on something that I like to share, and I wanted to share this story because it was a very interesting story for me. I have never learned leadership in any seminar, course, book that I've ever read, and I have digested by the thousands. But I can tell you, and leadership is very near and dear to me. It's a big deal for me. I have never been taught leadership as much as I have been taught to parent a 14-year-old child. Those of you that know what that's like, and I mean, maybe some of you are lucky enough to have a really easygoing 14-year-old child. I, on the other hand, have probably the most difficult 14-year-old child that there ever was. And so he is challenging, he is manipulative, he is intelligent, and he wants what he wants, and he can be a bit selfish. And so in the selfishness that he does, he can drive me to make decisions and parent in ways that I don't agree with. And I don't realize that I did it until after the fact. And so then I'm like, wait, no, shit, I got to change that. So I got to come back and I got to work on that again. And I'm like, okay, this is the new guideline. I'm constantly being challenged by that. And so if you have a group of people in your life that are challenging you, like your kids or your team or whoever that is, that's good because it's forcing you to become a better and a stronger leader.
And this is great to talk about right now, Nikki, because I'm sure it's happening. I mean, all of a sudden we're thrown into situations where we're 24/7 with everyone.
100%.
Yeah.
And so this is the conversation we had. I said, sit down, son. And I put him in front of me. You always have to make it very formal, right across the table. So he knows I mean business. And then I said to him, write down on a piece of paper, this piece of paper I wrote in front of you, write 3 things that you're grateful for. And he said, I don't know. And I said, you don't know. You don't know what you're grateful for in your life? This kid has his own room, his own bathroom, his own closet, Nerf guns up the wazoo, on and on and on, as every kid these days does. Entitlement, indulgence. And so, because I love the kid, right? And so anyway, he says, I don't know. I don't even know if I know what grateful means. This kid, I've talked about gratefulness to this kid or gratitude since he was like 1. Okay. So he knows gratitude, but he's being shitty with me. So I said, okay. All right, we're going to start here. I said, write down every relationship you have in your life. And it dinged with me. And it made me realize that there is something big to learn here. And because it sent a message to him, by the way. So I made him write the relationships he had. And so he had to write, my grandma, my aunt, my mom, my brother, my whatever. And I said, so what are your roles in those relationships? So then he had to write next to them, my role in that relationship was I'm a brother, I'm a grandson, I'm a son, I'm a, friend, whatever, like that, right? So the relationship and then the role. And I said, so now tell me, in that relationship that you've built, what is your responsibility to that relationship? What do you think that is? And he said, I don't know. And I said, no, let's dive. You're very intelligent. You're just being difficult with me right now. Tell me what your responsibilities are. I had to drag it out of him. And he said, my responsibility is to be nice. And I said, yeah, okay, keep going. And so I said, at the bottom of every single relationship, I want you to write 3 responsibilities you have in that relationship.
I love it.
And he literally went down and did that. It took about an hour and a half. He was miserable, and as was I. But I was seeing a light bulb go off. And then I said to him, what do you hope for yourself in all of those 10 years from now, 20 years from now? How long do you want that relationship to go? Do you want that relationship to be long-term and sustainable? Because if you do, there is something that you're missing. You need to understand that relationships flex and grow and change, and it flexes and grows and changes with your accountability to the responsibility in those relationships, son.
And you know something, Nikki, one of the things I always look for with people that I allow close in, like into my inner circle is, I've had friends my whole life. I have lifelong friends. I look for people that have lifelong friends that have kept
Right.
friendships forever. Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
And I said, but the most important feature here that I really want to hit home for you is contribution. And I think this word it's our mantra. It's my parenting mantra for him. And it's my leadership mantra for my team. What is your contribution to this team? What is your contribution to your business? What is your contribution to this world, to this community, to your family, to yourself? What are you contributing to the relationships and the roles that you have in your life? And all of that awareness is the consciousness that I tried to make him see by writing everything down. And then I asked and I called upon a call to action for his character, for him to and put him in his character to be held accountable to what he was contributing in the contribution side to those relationships. And so to me, real mentorship comes from the yin and yang of that is those three key components: being very conscious of the roles and the relationships that you have, the character that you need to bring to the table to deliver the right tools to the relationship and to the right level that you need to invest to make it long term and grow from what it needs to be and to expand the relationship further. And then the contribution that you give to the task at hand, and how diligent are you, and do you worry too much about yourself and what you're getting in return, or are you just giving endlessly with your heart and your soul and not worrying about what you're getting back in return, because it'll pay back in spades if you do. And that was a lesson I was trying to send home to him. And so for me, creating effective mentorship really starts like that.
I love it, Nikki.
Thanks,
Well,
Geno.
very well said. I'm going to stay right on that because I think that was beautifully said. I loved your story. I know your son, and I know you're telling the truth, and I know how hard it is. You know,
But he loves you, Geno.
and
He listens to you.
well, that's a good thing. See, I have a real thing about if kids like you got to be all right, you know, because kids don't have filters. They can kind of see right through. Okay,
Right.
so the mantra was people matter most. I really love what Nikki had to say. I put a thought down that great morale is the product and result of great team spirit. One of the things I want to share with all of you is that not only do we have a team that we deal with, both our team family, our team at work, the team that works for us, the team that we work for, but there's also a team within you. There's many Genos in this head, and we are a team. And the true essence of true team spirit is to create an environment where you're bringing out the best in each other. I think the greatest place to start right now while you're at home is to create an environment where you bring out the best in you. That I have a thing about spirit, and I think people sometimes right away look for, or especially many of us artists, we look for or we react to the things that are happening right now instead of looking at how lucky we are to be here together, how lucky we are to have the friends that we have, how lucky we are. I mean, I was on a couple nights ago and got to see Philip and Mary and see Philip Wilson do his incredible haircutting, which I could never do. And the next morning he called me and said, well, let's talk about it. You know, what do you think? How did we do? And I think that that's part of what life is all about. So the thing you need to do is to develop a high level of trust with the people around you. You've got to get people to trust you. Give them reasons to trust you. Don't be untrusting. And then to keep and develop a great team, both with yourself and others, share credit and knowledge with each other. Right now's the time to be filling the gap. You could be talking to all of your employees or coworkers on what are the things you can do. Who's your number one retailer? How can we teach the other people in the salon how to be great retailers? Who's the best salesperson? How can we teach them? Who brings the most people back? How could we get them to do that? Next, you got to cover your team. You got to be careful. I love when, Derek, you talk about being a Marine. You know, the first thing you realize when you're in the armed services, when I was in the Army, the first thing they said was, look, don't forget about the guy next to you, because if you do, you take your eye off him, he's gone. You know, if you're at war, it's that fast. But I mean, it really teaches you a lesson in, I don't have to love who I work with, but I do have to cover them. I mean, I do have to like them. You know,
And respect them.
Yes, I have to respect them. Exactly. Next is to stimulate spirit. You know, we're at a time right now where the most important thing you can do is to stimulate your spirit. Stay bright. It's easy to get bitchy. when you got Groundhog Day every day. But if you look at Groundhog Day, the movie, I mean, the first thing he did was learn how to make it work for him. And he made every day better. And we could do the same thing. And then while you're learning, be careful not to badmouth your coaches. You know, like I said earlier, we can all be momentary mentors to each other, but you have to understand something. The greatest enemy of learning is knowing. And if you think you know, you're building a barrier that prevents you from going any further. You're costing yourself valuable, precious time, energy, money, and everything else. So make sure that you're giving people space to be your coach so that you can learn to learn from others. When this whole event started, the first thing I did was reached out to my friends and family in Europe. And I knew what was going to happen here long before it happened. I was so prepared before it got here. I had Lysol, toilet paper, all the things that I could probably sell toilet paper out front on Main Street, although nobody's driving by anymore. And lastly, in morale, learn to choose honesty over nice. Most of the people you know want to be nice to you. I want people around me that tell me the truth. That's the pact that Nikki, Iva, and I made to each other. That's the pact I've made with all my close family and all the people that are in my inner circle. You don't have to be nice to me. I'd prefer if you were honest. I want to know how I'm doing. I want to live by my standard of the fact that I will give 100% to everything I do 100% of the time. Nikki, go further.
So I think that I wanted to do a little play on words because I think that sometimes, you know, Geno and I really did not want to do a philosophical presentation for you. We wanted to do a very tactile presentation. However, I think that right now we're in just a state of concern and worry that we wanted to address all of these. And I think that we keep getting the questions of how do we build morale with our team right now when we don't feel it anyway. And so I think that this is why we wanted to address this topic and how we can do this and the communication styles and using certain tools like Zoom, as you've learned how to use Zoom and you downloaded that, or Facebook team pages. If you guys don't have a team page for your team right now on Facebook or a WhatsApp or any of those kinds of communication apps, even group text if you'd like, to keep it simple. If you don't have those things going right now, you really, really should. And make sure you're sharing some really, really brilliant stuff on there. Maybe some of the stuff from this Beauty Biz Reset, guys. Before I go any further, I think we haven't mentioned, Geno, enough about the fact that we're giving away a huge prize at the end. So some of you guys might be heading out. I know we might run over a little bit, and that's okay. We're going to do this as quickly as possible, but we want to give you as much as possible too. But just know if you stay with us to the end, we have a huge, huge giveaway and a little quick fun game that we're going to play with you guys. Okay. So
it's going to be really cool. And you're going to get over $400.
Yeah. The winner.
From all of us.
I mean, it ain't free. You're going to work for it.
The winner, not everybody.
Not everybody. Just one winner.
However, can I also add that I am going to have to leave at 9:35. I have a 7 o'clock California Zoom, and that's so I'm going to have to leave at 9:35. So we'll maybe pick up the pace and get to it. All right.
So I wanted to play on words a little bit. So I called it the morale inside the moral. Okay. So because I think that it's a very interesting thing because I think it fits together very nicely. And so what is the morale anyway, right? What is it? Like why are you building it? And this is the definition that after I researched it for a little while that I decided to come up with it fit for me. It's the spirit within a group that compels them to do better, to survive, to thrive, to advance, and to excel in that order, okay? Survive first through this crisis and chaos, to thrive in it and create a plan, to advance further and continue to grow what you need to, and then to excel at what you do when you choose to do it. And so in that order, I think that that's how you build morale. And why you build morale is because it gives them the spirit as a team and a collective effort to move forward and to do that. Okay.
You know, it's a good time to throw out there, Nikki, please never forget when there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. And
beautiful.
I think that's what Nikki's really talking about right there.
Right. And so what is the moral of the story? You know, what is the moral of our presentation tonight? And I would say that to understand what the moral of the story is, we need to understand the lessons that are to be learned here. We have to see the impact, not just for how it's affecting us, but go big picture, like go out and pretend like you're out in outer space and you're meditating a little bit and during some meditation time, and look at the world from a big picture and what can you learn? When you do this, it will develop a sense of foresight. The stronger your foresight is, the more you can project and plan for the future. The more you can project and plan for the future, the stronger your strategy will be to survive things into the future globally. We are living in a generation that is surviving a global crisis, guys. And how well we do it is up to us. So let's look at these tools that we have. Let's try to get out of our comfortable state that we've been in, or a complacent state, thinking about running away and whatever we're doing, that we've been having the benefit of living in a state of comfort, because we're no longer in that. We're in a survival mode right now, and let's show people we can do it well. Survival is uncomfortable and is really, really hard, right? It's hard as hell. But I think that compassion is the key to surviving survival, you know? So when you're in survival, if you develop some compassion for others and understand that other people are surviving too, that level of compassion will drive you through. And then that way you can really try to strive to thrive then. So now we're going to really start thinking about how we're going to thrive in this moment. So you could be in a state of survival, cutting your costs down, minimizing your cost of everything, and trying to live in a very meager way. And then by doing that, you can still thrive. You know, find the fun in what you're doing. We have a new state of fun. You know, our culture, our fun is to go out and eat at Outback and go to a movie. That's the normal thing. A date night is to go for dinner and a movie. I think our fun is different now. You know, we have to think about it different and what we can do to make our lives fun for our kids and our family.
Oh, I love that. Nikki, can you see Andrew Finkelstein? Let us honor the struggle. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So if your team doesn't have a purpose, if you're not giving them a purpose, they'll be in search of their own, and they'll find it somewhere else. So advance them with a shared purpose. Give them a shared purpose, please. But you got to figure out what that purpose is for you and your business. Crisis brings out the real. You're either cup half full, cup half empty, positive, negative, selfish, selfless, empathetic, apathetic, entropic, or excellent. Choose, guys. Make a choice. Geno said something above. You have the choice to make that decision for yourself and for your business. And then start to look at the silver linings. I wrote my sister a grand old text the other day, and I'm going to make a post about it because it was so brilliant, actually. And I shared with her. She's like, how are you doing? I know you're struggling. Oh my God, the salon. And I said, honestly, I am great, because I have such a purpose now, and I feel better than ever that I can see my silver linings that I've gotten from this. Even though it's very scary and troublesome, I feel that I can see my silver linings so clear. Be the constant in the dynamic, guys. You need to be the constant. Be the eye of the storm. Let it go around, and then pull your team close to you and be the constant. Let the whole dynamic go, but just be the constant. Be stable. Practice stability. Do daily practice, guys, of staying constant, and take one for the team, guys. So that's really important to build the morale. You have to start with you and stay stable yourself first and build your own morale. Okay, Geno.
All right. So I'm going to whiz right through these because I want to give you a pretty good close when we get through. Okay. Just real quick, I want to share with you the importance of and paying attention to looking out for other people. I want you to understand something that I think is so important that I've lived by in my beauty industry from the day I started cutting hair. When the dollar is greater than the cause will always lose. When the cause is greater than the dollar will always follow. So pay attention to the cause. Try not to think so much about the dollar. It'll come, you'll be all right. Nobody's gonna starve. Culture, it should bring out the best in all of us. That's the way it works.
Beautiful.
Remember, you have choices. We have choices. And we have to make the best choices. Life is about choices. Practice responding, not reacting. Respond to what's happening and make the best choice. You know, I don't want to tell the story about the man with the flowers on the bus. I'll tell it in my close, but I just wanted to share that real quick. And then I'll let you read this little bit right here. Nikki, do you mind if I go right into my close now because of the time?
Yes, of course.
That would be wonderful. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here. I've seen by many of the quotes that many of you are already good friends, and I appreciate and value your friendship, and I promise I always will. All of you are in my prayers constantly. I know that if we're careful, we'll all make it through this. I want to thank Derek and James and Andrew for all of their hard work and for providing this platform for us. I want to thank Nikki and Iva. It's always an honor to get a chance to work with them. And my last thoughts for all of you are this. We can make it through anything. Look back on your history. We can overcome anything. We can make the best of anything. This is a time when we've got to make the best of the world we're stuck with right now. I try to be careful to pay attention to the rules and stay home, because I think I would want to commit suicide if ever I passed this virus on to anyone, let alone getting it myself. And that's what keeps me following the rules, staying home and paying attention to what's happening. I know that we're going to be all right. Lastly, I know that there's greatness within all of you that are listening. I want you to make that your personal component for the next month or two. Learn about what your greatness is. Bring your greatness out. Thank you so much for your time tonight. God bless all of you. Thanks again. Nikki,
Thanks, Geno. Should I take it up?
Sure. Thank you,
Okay.
Iva. Thank you, Layla.
So before Geno runs off in 5 minutes or so, well, it's 9:25. You have 10 minutes. Is that okay? Can I wrap it?
Yes, please.
And then I'm going to, okay. All right. So
It's
this next part,
9:30, Nikki, so I only have 5 minutes, but go ahead.
okay. So the components of salon culture is
Thank you,
really about how you're going to revamp your culture when you go back to work. And to me, let me define what I think culture really means. I think there's a lot of questions. It's like branding. What does it really mean? Everyone has a different definition. I'm going to share mine. I believe that it's the manifestations of human achievement, both from artistically a perspective, philosophically, and intellectually. And it's regarded collectively. So as we regard everything collectively, it's the manifestations of all that achievement. Look at how much achievement this industry has seen in the last 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, unbelievable levels of it. And so we have built a culture around our industry, around this community of people that have decided to connect together. And so we need to take that kind of culture back. And then the components of culture, I'm going to get kind of tactical with you guys right now. And we are going to talk about this a little bit deeper, Iva and I, on April 10th when we teach back on here. I believe that here are the components of culture. First, you have to build a foundation. The foundation is a collaboration with your team of policies and procedures, or with your coaches. So you work with coaches in your teams and you build a strong set of policies and procedures that reflect your brand vision. And so very important, that's the foundation. The canopy of your culture, what you're going to be coming from and encompassing from the top down, is it's an integration of knowledge, behaviors, outlooks, attitudes, values, goals, and the customs within your company. And so all of those different components build on the more intangible items of the culture, but it is built upon for all the policies and procedures. We will discuss a lot of these policies and procedures in strong form. You guys now have time to start working on your policies and procedures and your standard operating procedure manuals. You're going to use it for your hiring processes. You're going to be using it for your training. You're going to be using it for every single thing you do in your business. You're going to rely on it for benefit packages, to pay out performances, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to handle it for your compensation. So the culture is the machine that keeps the oil going, and then you build all of the other structures around it and the other systems around it. And so then the reason for the culture is really because it influences, or your influence in that culture, it magnifies that culture. So all of that is about passing along skills, information, standards, and beliefs. You're literally magnifying that over and over and over again and duplicating, so your business grows and grows and grows with magnification. And then the tools that you're going to use is, first, you got to have a brand vision. So that's the brainchild, right? And so from there, you develop guest policies, employee policies, guest experiences, which Jackie covered beautifully last night, and employee experiences. So yes, your employees get to have an experience too in your company. Guest procedures and employee procedures. A career ladder and how you grow someone for 20 or 30 years in your company. If you don't have that, how do you expect longevity for staff retention?
Nikki,
Hiring process.
I just love this, because I think so many leaders and so many owners don't realize that in the absence of culture, there's culture. It's just not your culture.
Right. But
You know?
culture just isn't how you come into your business acting every day. That's one way, right? But there's all these other things that you have homework to do as a business owner as well. And so your compensation, your benefit strategy, your team training systems, and your leadership. And so this is really the components of culture. We'll dive into this in April 10th class much, much deeper. But I wanted to kind of give you a brief overview. So Geno gave his close, but here is the game. Everybody paying attention? We're going to wrap it real quick for you guys. First of all, I know you do have more work to do, but look, we got time. Look at all the work you got to do.
Oh,
right?
by the way, Nikki, would you tell everybody, I'm on again too, right?
You are on again. Yeah. So Geno, you are on again by yourself. The date has not been given to me by Andrew. So Andrew, if you want to share that with the group, please, that would be great. Derek, Andrew, I believe Ivan and I are on August. I'm sorry, August. I'm already in August.
Wow,
April
wow.
10th. And then I'm on April 13th by myself for leadership. And then you're on by yourself, I believe. I thought it was April 16th, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, April 16th.
Oh, yeah, April. I knew that. April 16th. Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah. All right, guys. So in summary, here's my homework for you. Okay. Or not homework. Think of it as just a game, a fun game. Here are the key words that summarizes our presentation this evening: clarity, reality reset, launching pad, mentorship, contribution, morale, team, culture, choice, leadership, systems, strategies. Those are the summarizing words that are key words to this presentation. This is going to be a nice time filler for you guys. You guys got time to do it. I want you guys, Geno and I talked about it, and we want you guys to create a brand mission sentence or a phrase that summarizes our key points, using those words, connecting all of those keywords on this live thread. So either the Facebook Live or the Zoom Live. And I want you to use it with the concept in mind that this is the debut concept for your new culture in your business, using these keywords from our presentation, right? So Salon X's new concept for culture in our business and to share with our team, you're going to use these keywords. You're going to use them in whatever format you want. Yep, I want you to type it on the live thread, okay? So make sure we are all seeing it. The person who gets the most likes or hearts, so go on and like your favorites, okay? On the sentence by noon tomorrow, at 12 tomorrow, we're gonna go and review. Forms for your digital, so whoever gets the most hearts and likes will win a free business package from us, the Statements Project, Iva and Nikki, and our team. To create an employee document package that we, Iva and I, will teach you on April 10th how to use all of these employee forms in order to use it properly in your business every single day to manage your business from a more structural standpoint. We will give those forms to you any which way you like. So if you want them in a digital file, you want them in a USB, you want them printed out and put in a folder and mailed to you, I don't really care. But that value is typically $249. We're giving that away for free to the winner, okay? And then Geno is giving an entire package. Geno, you want to talk about it?
I'm going to give an entire package of my best-selling beauty CDs, and it will also include my CD called The 21 Keys to Success in Life, which is not beauty-related, and they are phenomenal. Some of you on here have them. And by the way, for everybody that's on here right now, if you'll go on my website, genostampora.com, I'm going to offer everyone my CDs, which I've never done this because of the environment, at 50% off. And the code is WithLove50.
Beautiful, Geno. But the
Nikki,
winner will receive
Nikki, I love you. Thank you. Derek,
I love
thank
you, Geno.
I need to go. Everyone here.
I'll wrap it up for them. I'll wrap it up for them.
Thanks, Nikki. I'll wrap it up. Love you all. See you soon. Come and see me later. Okay. Thank you,
love
Tracy.
You. All right, guys. So you have to use all of the words and they have to make sense, please. And be creative, be authentic, and be funny. I don't know, or be serious. Be whatever you want to be with it, but create a really beautiful phrase. Inspire us, guys. Use our concepts from the presentation tonight, and let's create that, and let's get ramped up and get ready for our presentation on April 10th, where Iva and I will be throwing a lot at you with our class called Getting Your Salon Ready to Hire New Staff and Coming Back Strong, okay? And all the hiring practices and all of that fun stuff, you know, the real serious tactical stuff. So it was a complete honor to have you guys tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with me and and letting me help you guys when I can. My heart's with you guys, and I'm going to fight for you guys and do everything I can. So thank you guys so much. Derek, you want to take it over?
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks, Geno. I know he left already, but you guys were awesome, of course. I expected nothing less out of you. And I'm glad that we are all here as a team of coaches, night after night after night. Honestly, I'm getting kind of worn out. I'm sure James and Andrew are too. But you know what? We're putting our time and energy into this to help everybody in the group. And I really appreciate all the coaches beyond belief what they're doing.
And I mean, I don't think anyone in this group really understands how much work you're putting into this, and James and everyone. I mean, my gosh, it is a lot of work. I can't even get over it. So
Hey, listen, we just crossed over a whole week.
yeah, like unbelievable.
Yeah, James, I didn't even realize that. I'm in Groundhog Day. Every day's a video. Every day's prepping for a video, right? So
I know, but it's not even like every day is like the Monday off for like a holiday. It's like,
no, I know.
It's like, what the hell is going on?
You need some
Andrew's
help.
behind
You need
the
some
scenes
help.
up there trying to put the schedules together, and he's like losing his mind.
Well, it's
So
great.
very funny.
It's great because we have so many people who want to participate and come on and share.
Right.
Well, listen,
So
if you
I
live in New
encourage
Jersey,
everyone.
if you live in New Jersey and you apply for an SBA loan or one of the New Jersey disaster loans, it comes with a full bottle of 100 proof Tito's. So you can decide if you want to drink it or use it as hand sanitizer. That's the state's give back.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
Nikki, loved it. I love how you.
Nikki, thank you.
I love that you use the word tactical all the time, right? Because you know me, so we couldn't be more alike. Anyway, dead on. Geno, the motivation from Geno is just unbelievable. Thank you so much for tonight. Everybody listening, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Salon Ops. It's 2-word, SALONOPS. So you can rewatch these videos and share them with your teams if you choose to. All the videos are reposted in there. Also share with other owners. Make sure they join the group. Nikki put a thing out today to have owners join the group. Go onto the Beauty Business Reset website so that they can register to watch all this stuff. And remember, we're the Beauty Business Reset, and we will fix this industry. Thanks,
Yes.
Nikki. Thanks,
Thank you
Asa.
guys so much.
Thank you,
Hey,
Nikki.
guys. Hey, thanks everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Eva.
Have a great night.
James.
Thanks, Iva.
Thanks,
You did
Andrew.
fantastic. Appreciate you.